Okay, Thursday, 14th of March, 2024. So never sell Bitcoin, hodl forever, never sell any. So there's this interesting meme, this concept in the Bitcoin space that says never sell your Bitcoin, never take profits. Okay, there's a few interesting ways of looking at this because it's worth understanding what Bitcoin is and why you would not want to sell it per se. So it's worth understanding that Bitcoin is apex property. It's top of the food chain, let's say, in terms of the asset, the return on investment, the strength, the fewest risks, the most utility, the most potential to grow, all the buzzwords like that. Okay, then it's worth understanding that Bitcoin, because of its technology, 21 million, it is extremely rare, very scarce. This is a mathematical fact. So you would want to sell Bitcoin for certain reasons. Because it's deflationary, we're looking for an incredibly damn good reason. Keyword there is being damn good reason to sell it. So we're looking for things that are going to give us a bigger ROI than what Bitcoin can over the course of, say, a certain time frame. Say, whatever, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years. So it's worth asking then, what is fundamentally worth more than Bitcoin? What is more scarce than Bitcoin itself? And there's about 2 or 3 things. I mean, generally, of course, probably more, but as far as I can see right now, 3 things: time, health, and lifestyle. Time, health, and lifestyle. Okay, so time, let's say. So time, if you can figure out ways to sell the Bitcoin, let's keep it loose for now, sell, and keep it simple, sell. If you can sell Bitcoin to save you time, because time is much more scarce and rare than Bitcoin, okay? If you can sell the Bitcoin to save you more time, so that way it frees up your day so you can accumulate even more Bitcoin or be more productive with your business or do something else with your life, again, your life, then that seems to be, notice the word seems to be, a good trade-off, because time is more scarce than Bitcoin, so you're selling an asset, you're selling something to earn back time. So for example, let's say it takes 1 hour to get to the city centre. Instead of getting, say, public transport, I could get an Uber. Uber will be more expensive, and where'd the money come from? Let's say you just sold some Bitcoin, keep it simple. You'd get an Uber, it would save you, say, 30 minutes, and then you're coming back 30 minutes as well. So that saves 1 hour. Rather than 2 hours on public transport, 1 hour from Uber. Okay, you've now got this extra, you could say there's 1 hour of time you've saved. What can you do in that time? Oh, buy more Bitcoin, work more, mine more fiat, whatever else. You have more time. Very useful. Okay, the other thing that could be worthwhile spending Bitcoin on, notice the word could, would be health. Health, a life-changing operation. You've hurt yourself in some fashion and you need medical attention so far, because there's no point having all this Bitcoin and you're in poor health, and it's a situation that could be avoided. All you need to pay is medical bills, but you got all this cash over here. Because what's more worthwhile, what's rarer than Bitcoin? Your life, your very life. If you can avoid it via an operation, avoid this disaster, because all it needs is an operation, then pay for the operation, because you're no good to the world dead. Do you see what I mean? Especially if you have not got any inheritance plans done for the Bitcoin. Then that Bitcoin is as good as lost. It's as good as, spent. Then it's, it can't be accessed. Only you knew the password. Do you see where I'm going with this? So if all it took was to save your life was an operation, then sell the Bitcoin, save your life, because your life is much more valuable than the Bitcoin. It's much more rare. Okay, so a life-changing operation, or a life-saving operation. Life-changing, yeah, reasonable, whatever. Your choice to make. Life-saving, yes. And time, of course, to save more time. And the third one, you could argue, and this is a little more subjective, but lifestyle. So let's say, you got all the Bitcoin, you got loads of Bitcoin, but you're starving yourself. You're living like painfully frugally. Like you can afford, nice things in life. You can afford like 2 loaves of bread rather than 1 loaf of bread, but you're not even buying a loaf of bread. You're not buying, you're living well below your means. Now, nothing wrong with that, and nothing wrong with being frugal, nothing wrong with being, let's say, cheap, but is that really the kind of lifestyle you want? Like, do you really want to, you could afford 2 loaves of bread, but you're only buying 1, for example, or why not buy 2 loaves of the nice branded luxury bread with the seeds or other stuff like that, or, you're just eating the same food, don't you want steak, on Sunday, for example, or roast beef, or whatever else. Now, again, you don't have to have steak, you don't have to have roast beef, you don't have to have any bread. But you put all this effort and time and energy, you've been mining fiat, let's say, you've been working non-stop, you get this growing pile of Bitcoin, and that's worth even more because of the market price. Then you could say, the all-time high, bull market, whatever. Then you could say, well, is it worth selling $1,000 worth to buy some nice things in life? Nice things, nice desk, a nice chair, nice clothes, nice food, whatever, or that book I really wanted to read, things like that. Now, of course, you don't have to have nice things. You don't have to live, extravagantly. You can live as frugal as you want. But it's worthwhile considering that. Well, why not? I would like this. Or I've got more than enough money. I'll buy 2. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, a nice treat. Very fair. Very reasonable. Very understandable. You got all this money, but how are you enjoying the fruits of your labor? Again, you spend all that time, but how are you enjoying it? Just watching the money go up on a screen, which is fine, but how are you enjoying it? How are you benefiting from it in terms of diet and exercise? Exercise, time, diet, high quality food, lifestyle again, lifestyle. And then you could argue, if your lifestyle is good, you're extending your life, your life expectancy is increasing because you're eating healthier and you've got more free time, so you can afford to exercise. Therefore, your quality of life and your life expectancy is increasing as well. And how you turn that Bitcoin, again, let's say you sold some, keep it simple, I'll explain shortly. Let's say you sold some via an exchange into fiat and then you bought things with it. So, worthwhile considering. Time, much more scarce than Bitcoin. Health, much more valuable than Bitcoin. And lifestyle, again, you don't have to live frugally, but you've put all the effort in, that time, energy, and effort. Why not reward yourself? Again, you don't have to, but worthwhile thinking about. Now, other thing worth thinking about, and this is, I think fundamentally what trips up a lot of people is you have this Bitcoin, and it's prime real estate, it's digital property, and all of the buzzwords. Nice, but I think what a lot of people get tripped over is how do they turn this Bitcoin into, let's say, bread, into steak? How do we do that? Because people can say, you can't eat Bitcoin, but you can't eat gold, you can't eat fiat. Yes, true, yeah. But we can convert that stuff. We can find a buyer, convert it into fiat in some fashion, and go to a shop and buy it. Okay. So then how would you convert Bitcoin into fiat? So, first of all, exchanges. Sell it into fiat, done. But there's other considerations with that. There's pros and cons and technicalities and AML, KYC. It's possible, it's doable. Trust me, it's doable. But there's probably hoops to jump through. Fair enough. The alternative, and this kind of combines the idea of never sell, and at the same time, I want that steak, I want that bread, okay? I want that thing. Use it as collateral. There are exchanges out there that use your Bitcoin as collateral on a credit card or debit card. Done. There we are then. You can walk into Walmart or Tesco's or wherever else, and with your Bitcoin-backed credit card, using the MasterCard system, buy the product, the vendor, retailer's happy, but you create a loan as a credit card behind the scenes, or even the debit card. There's things out there. Bitcoin-backed credit cards, Bitcoin debit cards. I can think of one out there already. So these things do exist, and I've done it and I've used it before. So this stuff is possible. Okay, very good. But the problem then is, you have this credit card, You've got the product, you've got the steak, you've got the bread. Happy chappy. Very nice. Good. Now you've created a debt, because that loan, that's what a credit card is, has to be paid off somehow. Okay? So you've got two choices, arguably. You can either use some of your Bitcoin to pay off that credit, that loan, but that goes against the idea of never selling. Or you could then say, well, I've got a job, I've got a business elsewhere, doing its thing. I'll use that to pay off this loan. But then you could say, well, why would I want to loan against Bitcoin to buy this thing in the first place? Why not take it from the business directly, or my job, and buy it straight away? That's the question indeed, because you're basically saying, I'm never going to sell, because you didn't even touch the Bitcoin. Okay. But there's other things to consider in terms of loopholes and KYC, AML, technicalities, limitations, restrictions, because we're looking at a third party here. Fair enough. Even by selling it, there's other responsibilities directly into fiat. Capital gains issues. The alternative option, and this is again kind of a middle ground, is places like El Salvador, where it's legal tender. You could just walk into the shop and over the Lightning, pay for your groceries, pay for your food. Perfect. No middleman required, take out a loan or collateral. No selling into fiat needed. Again, paperwork, technicalities, clicking here and there, process, bureaucracy. I can just pay for it straight away via Lightning because it's legal tender in El Salvador. Perfect. So what does that tell you? It tells us that the market, the way the world is going, is towards legal tender because it's the path of least resistance. That will be the easiest way to spend your Bitcoin or take profits or whatever. In fact, you wouldn't even need to take profits because the value of Bitcoin will be priced. Bitcoin will be so much more, it'll be wherever it is, let's keep it simple. And probably it'll be used as unit of account, where they'll price it in dollars, and then that will be reflected in the current market price of Bitcoin, whatever it is. And that will be the price you pay at the till. However, unless somewhere, sometime, somewhen in the future, there's a fundamental shift, and this is the crux, where at the start of, say, the production line or the farms or wherever, everything is from day one priced in Satoshis. This seed was 1 Satoshi, and it grew into this apple tree, and each of those, all this fertilizer and herbicide and pesticide, whatever, cost this many or that many Satoshis. And then, so each of these apples per kilogram, whatever, is this many Satoshis. Done. Never even touching fiat. So therefore, why would you need to bother taking profits when that whole process, the whole pipeline is valued in Satoshis? They're not thinking of the fiat price, just how you and I, for example, I'm not thinking about the price of, things in Argentine peso, or what's the price of fuel in Egyptian pounds, or what's the price of, shirts, for example, t-shirts in Indian rupee, exact same way. I'm not thinking about what they're priced in, I'm thinking this. But if we fundamentally start pricing it in Bitcoin, then that right there is the incarnation, is the true fulfillment, of truest expression of the Bitcoin standard, where everything from day one is being priced in Bitcoins and Satoshis. And everything else is just ignored, in the same way where I don't think about what's the cost of a t-shirt when I go to buy one in Indian rupees, or Chinese yuan. I just don't consider that at all. So in that situation, when it's legal tender and everything priced in Bitcoin, you won't need to take profits because you won't need to go from Bitcoin into fiat and buy the product. You won't need to do that. That path just doesn't. You don't need to do it at all. It's redundant. It's like, why would I go from US dollar to euro to pound? Why would I do that? Just go from US dollar to pound. Same principle. Okay, so that's it. Use Bitcoin as collateral. There's ways around it. There's always ways. There's businesses out there. There's techniques and methods. And it's logical and rational to HODL because it's entropy. Entropy. The whole world is melting. The fiat world is melting. There's a great quote by Max Kaiser. Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. mean there's no limit to how high it can go, because there's no limit to how many fiat currencies can be printed and come into existence for a fractional reserve lending, QE, and whatever else. There we are. So interpret that as you must, as you will. Price action, whatever happens, we're all adults here, make your own decision. Yeah, how cool is that? But otherwise, perfect. You will see me tomorrow.